Hi guys, this video is to help you with page S-56, problem 103 and 107. Okay, so let's dive in. Lilia rewrote 10/25ths as 41/100ths and represented it with a picture on the right. Tony thinks this fraction is also equal to 2/5. Is Tony correct? Use the picture or calculations to explain your reasoning. Write your answer in a complete sentence. So yes, Tony is right because we can look at this picture that has 10 squares out of the 25 shaded, and we could think of it as just rectangles. So there's five columns. This column would be our first one, then our second column, then our third column, then our fourth, which is shaded in, and finally our fifth. So we have 5 columns here, and 2 out of the 5 columns, these last 2, are shaded. So yes, 2/5 is equivalent to 10/25. And on your paper, please go ahead and write in why you know those are equivalent. So you can give the explanation that I just did with the picture. Okay, second part of the question. I'm going to put yes here. Yes. Yes, he is correct. And then you're going to fill out the explanation. Second part, how can Tony write equivalent fractions using tenths? That is, what fraction of the form what over 10 can represent the diagram above? So I know if we're just looking at these red columns, those red columns are 2 of the red columns out of the 5 total are shaded in. So now the question is, well, can I make those red columns tenths? I sure can. So I'm going to divide each of those red columns in half, or multiply it by 2, same thing. So now I have 10 really skinny rectangles going down. So I have 10 total skinny long rectangles. And if I look here, I have this one is shaded and this one. So that's 2 of the 10. And this one is shaded and this one over here. So I have 4 total long skinny rectangle of the 10 shaded. So we would say that 2/5, so 2 of the 5 big rectangles, is equal to 4/10. And that picture is one explanation. You could also do an explanation using multiplication and equivalent fractions. I'm going to clear this section and go on to the next problem. So on this last problem, 107, it says, what is the length of the marked portion of each line segment? Copy the segment onto your paper and find the missing length. Or you can just write it right on here since it's stapled in your notebook. Assume that the entire line is subdivided into equal sections. And that's the key, is that we have equal sections here. So if we see that 75, the total goes from 0 to 75. I like to think of that in terms of quarters. So I know that 3/4 is 75. So therefore, each section must be worth 25. So I'm going to divide this up. 25. And actually, let me clear that. It should be 25, then 50, then 75. So each section is worth 25, each little part, if I divide it up into 3 parts. So next we say, okay, the total is 75. We're dividing it up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. So what is 75 divided by 5? So I know that 75 divided by 5 is going to give me 15 in each section. So if I start that my first section is 15, then I go up by another 15, so that'll be 30, then 45, then 60, and then finally my last section will give me 75. My missing length here would be 45. So that missing length is 45. All right, and last but not least, I have 50 divided up, and it's divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equal sections. So I have 50 divided by 5 equal sections, which means each section is worth 10 units. So my first section will go 0 to 10, then another 10 would give me 20, then 30, then my last section would be 40. Ooh, this little one right here will be 40. But then the question is, okay, between 10 and 40, how many sections is that? 1, 2, 3. So that little area in there is going to be worth only 30 units because I started at 10 and I went to 40. So I hope these videos helped. Please take a picture of your work and turn it in on Google Classroom. If you still have a question about either of these problems, please give us a private message on Google Classroom or come and see us during office hours. Have a great night.